In the morning already. It's when the cleaners come, and I don't know you guys know this. It's like when you got to get out the door fast, make sure you have all the stuff for the next 4 hours because you have no idea when the cleaners are going to come, and of course you have to pick up before then. Anyway, I digress. Something that's come up a bit lately, and I just want to I want to read the room a little bit on this. There's been a lot of, I guess, just like nobody said anything, so I guess that implies consent, about the interchangeability of PT and OT in pelvic floor therapy. This wasn't a thing. It started being a thing probably since the last 4 years, beginning of the pandemic, when everybody's really started to shift over a lot more on social. There's a lot more continuing education companies that are multidisciplinary, meaning they instruct the same content to PTs and OTs. I'm assuming in these classes, so if any of you guys have taken them, let me know. I'm assuming that there's a caveat in these classes if it's taught by a PT and there's an OT or a PA or a nurse in the class to say, hey, you're responsible for knowing your scope of practice. But I'm seeing on social a lot of like, you can go to PT, OT, it's the same thing. When I went to school, I know it was, a long time ago, graduated 25 years ago. It wasn't the same thing. I made a very, very conscious decision to go to PT school. I didn't even know what OT was. I've had the pleasure of working with OT in other contexts. But it's a little bit disconcerting to me that we're seeing this like blend or mesh, and people just casually being like, oh, PT, OT. And I'm like, no. This is not me saying OT should not be in the pelvic floor space. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that they're different and should not be interchangeable. And what's interesting is, again, a lot of this what we're hearing is like in the educational companies because they're benefiting financially. So the more seats that are filled, great for them, right? But I haven't heard anybody step up and kind of talk about scope of practice and practice protection and that kind of stuff. And we have some very clear examples over the years where PT and OT work really nice. AOTA and APTA have worked together collaboratively for many years. And I think this is a great opportunity for that to happen again. I think it's confusing, frankly, to the public. And I think, like, just knowing how I practice, I wouldn't expect an OT to do it, but I would be very concerned if a patient was looking at me versus an OT and thought that they were the same thing, because it's not even remotely close. And it's not as simple as like, oh, well, you've been working for 25 years and they haven't. No. There's still ties and connections between, what I would do as an experienced provider and a new graduate physical therapist, because we came from the same foundation. So anyway, I am very curious. Those of you that are in this space, like, what do you see the differences? Why do you think it's the same? Why are we not seeing more kind of discussion about scope of practice? For those of you that have no skin in the game, I would be really curious about your thoughts on kind of what you think about all this. Just super curious. Let me know what you think.